Okay, thank you for having me here. I'm going to first go into a few bits of research that I've been doing that helps you put this together in your mind and how it's affecting our communities. And then Lynn gave me the rest of her outline, so I'm going to do the best I can with that. She's the expert on a lot of this stuff, but I'll try to do my best. So this sheet right here that looks like this. Everyone got this one? With the 61 names and addresses. So there's one of these trusts is a countrywide trust 2006-OC8. Mostly countrywide originated loans, but not just countrywide, all sorts of little criminal outlet, broker outlets back in the day in 2006 originated 6,734 loans and put them in one of these trusts. 61 of them came from Palm Beach County, okay? We got this right here, 61. Of those 6,734 were originated in Palm Beach County, okay? So here's the victims of this trust from our county, okay? So now let's look at this one right here. Okay, got this one now? I accidentally have a Hope Sound one in there, so there's 30 loans left on the books of that trust. Okay, so there was 61, now there's 30. Of those 30, one is current, paying on time, hasn't had to beg, plead, and rip their guts out for modification. And so there's one guy out of the 61, his name is Jay Back. We should all go to his house and say, thank you, you're supporting this entire trust from Palm Beach County. You're the guy, you're the representative that was able to carry on. Mr. Jay Back is the only one of those 61 families. It is him. He is carrying on. He is the one providing payment stream, representing the 61 from our county to go to the investors. He's the one. All the other loans of the 61, the rest of the 60, some were refied out. So this is a 2006 trust. So in 2007, the boom was still sort of cresting, and some people refied out. They were either able to refi out so they could move, or maybe get some money out to do improvements on their home, or they wanted to whatever reason. There were several loans that refied out. I checked some of those. Most of those are now in foreclosure with the refied loan. Many of the others, so we have 30 of the 61, so there's 30 loans that are gone out of the trust, meaning that they're already foreclosed or short sold and then sold on to new families. Some of those are actually in a second set of foreclosures, but that is not reflected in this trust. So the 30 that are left, let's look at this short one right here, okay, the 30 that are left. Now it says, you can see the status, loan status, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that says current. Actually, one is truly current, meaning he got the loan in 2006 and has made his payments every month as originally planned in that original mortgage. The other 3 current loans are actually modified. When they modified these loans, they added thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of dollars onto the balance, and they put it on the back end, and they just say, okay, well, we're going to finagle your payments, and we'll do a payment that works. You may have to struggle a bit, you may have to give up, you may have to access your retirement account, but you'll be able to keep the roof over your head. But God help you when you go to sell, because you're going to realize that you owe more than you did when you signed on to this thing in 2006. We just hid it on the back end, and you may not even know that until the end, but don't worry about that. We're just going to give you a predatory modification the same way we gave you a predatory loan to begin with, okay? But trust us on that, okay? Trust us. So, while it says, no, but it could be both. So, although it reflects that 4 are current, there's really 1 current, and poor Mr. Back right now is like, oh my God, it's February 19th and I haven't made February's mortgage payment yet, and I'll have to work an extra shift and access my 401k, and what's wrong with me? Why am I the only one having these problems? He's really doing very well. So of these other loans, let's take a look at some of these 30. Now, the trust is saying, hey, no problem, investors. We got all of these loans still on the books, And even if we have to take the properties back in foreclosure fraudulent means and sell them to new buyers, we'll get some of your money back. Don't you worry, you rest assured. But when you go to look in detail at some of these loans that the trust is saying, hey, they're on our books, you find things like, oh, well, if you look here at the Rodriguez satisfaction of mortgage, okay, so we have a satisfaction of mortgage dated 10 October of 2011. So in October of 2011, the Rodriguez family did a short sale, sold their property to a new buyer, and their mortgage is satisfied. So, but the trust is claiming $177,000 on their books for a loan that has been satisfied, meaning they're claiming $177,000. They're telling the investors, no problem, it's not performing as we expected, but we'll just take this, we'll sell it to someone else, we'll give you some of your money back. There is no money back. That $177,000 does not exist except for some fantasy accounting. The mortgage has been satisfied. This is not the only one. I know you're going to be shocked to hear this, but here we have right here, the trust sold the Woodruff loan. They foreclosed on the Woodruff family, kicked them out, and they sold the home to a new buyer. They sold this home to the Chen family in September of 2011. So the trust doesn't have this collectible mortgage anymore. They already sold it. It's gone. So it's kind of like if I told you, I'm going to hold something for you and just trust me, I got it held over here and I sell it to someone else and I still collect your monthly payment saying, no problem, just trust me, I got this for you. They already sold this. So this loan, the Woodruff loan, was $161,000. That's on their books, that $160,000. It doesn't exist. Okay, that $161,000 doesn't exist. And there are many, many, many examples. Now, why did I choose this trust? I chose this trust because Roman Pino, who is a Palm Beach County resident, fell into a fraudulent foreclosure action, hired an attorney. The attorney is ICE legal firm, and they fought tooth and nail to try and prevent this fraudulent foreclosure. And the judges didn't care. The judges said, hey, kick the deadbeat out. Let's get a better family in, a productive family in. The lawyers at the ICE legal firm said, yeah, not so fast. I'm going to take this up on appeal. They went up on appeal. They said the whole thing was fraudulent. The judge shouldn't have allowed this to go on. And even if they did allow it to go on, we should have at least had an evidentiary hearing that we could show the judge how fraudulent this was. But what the bank lawyers wanted to do is just dismiss the case and pull it out of the court system before we could do that. So we want to prove this fraud and put it on the books. And the bank said, now that you caught us, we're just going to dismiss this case. So the bank dismissed that case and then just brought a new case with all sort of cleaned up new fraudulent paperwork. So when they go up to appeal, the attorney said, hey, take a look at this. We caught them in their fraud. They dismissed their case. We want to have an evidentiary hearing and show them this fraud. And so they just dismissed it and said, no harm, no foul. We'll start another case with new fraud. Okay? And the ICE firm brought this to the appellate judges thinking, well, of course, once they look at this for what it is, who's going to allow our court system to do that? Well, the appellate judges said, hey, no problem here. We're going to let them dismiss the case and bring the new fraudulent case. But, we don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. So we're going to turf this up to the Supreme Court, and we'll let those Supreme Court judges handle it because we're too bank-friendly down here, and we don't want to ruffle any of our bank masters. So now this case is up in front of the Supreme Court of Florida. The bank got a little bit scared at this point because they don't have as many bank puppets on the Supreme Court of Florida as they do on the 4th District Court of Appeals. So they said, hey, isn't there something we can work out here? We don't want this case. What can we do? Ask your client. What'll make him happy? And they came to some confidential settlement, which we do not have access to because it's confidential, in hopes that the bank and Mr. Pino's attorneys would tell the Supreme Court judges, oh, hey, we settled this, let's just drop it, pretend like we never brought this up. So the settlement was presented, the settlement itself, but both the bank lawyer and Mr. Pino's lawyers said to the Supreme Court judges, hey, you can dismiss this, we have settled this case. But the Supreme Court judges said, not so fast, foreclosure fraud's a big issue in our state, we're gonna keep this case. So I'm sure the bank is not happy about this, but one thing we do know about the settlement is a satisfaction of mortgage was filed for Mr. Pino's loan. So now he owns his home free and clear because the bank was hoping to make this uncomfortable scrutiny by the Supreme Court judges go away by satisfying his mortgage and telling him, you know, no harm, no foul, let's just go on with our lives. So there's a satisfaction of mortgage filed, and he had a $162,000 mortgage, I think, let me look here. Yeah, $162,000 mortgage. Now that satisfaction was filed in July of 2011, but the investors still think that they have $162,000 on the books, and it is just one of, so here we have 31 loans, and of the 31, and I haven't looked at all of them, of the 31, we know 3 don't exist. They don't even exist. So anything that comes out of the foreclosure enterprise, any word, any document, any press release, any comments, just have a presumption of falsity. It's all a bunch of BS. They're lying, cheating, and stealing. They did it then during the boom, they're doing it now, and we need more and more citizen researchers, people that are willing to speak out and expose this, because only with continued exposure and more people just saying, you know, this is a fraudulent enterprise and I refuse to participate. Even those that can afford paying their mortgage, I say at this point, you are paying a criminal enterprise. Really consider what you're doing and what you're participating in. This is a perfect example. We had 61 families. There is one standing. One. So back in the heyday in 2006 when these families were thinking, oh my gosh, the American dream, here's my beautiful home, here's a loan. No family sat down and said, hey, I'll live high on the hog and then I'll be kicked out in a couple years in foreclosure because I lied through my teeth. Families do not say that. They say, here is my American dream and I'm going to do everything I can to keep this dream alive for me and my